What do you say, everybody? Welcome to Bama Insider, the Bama Insider YouTube channel, where tonight Bryce Young tries to make it 2 straight for the Crimson Tide of Alabama as he is in New York for the Heisman Trophy Presentation. And we are going to watch it with you tonight. This is our watch party. Like and subscribe as you hang out with us here on the channel. And the crew will go back and forth as we watch and see Bryce Young. According to Vegas, the overwhelming odds to win the Heisman, and Bama would win back-to-back Heismans. We'll talk about all of that coming up on the show. Let me introduce our crew tonight. The managing editor of Bama Insider, Kyle Henderson. What's up, Kyle?
What's up? What's up, fam? Good to see you guys back. We got 100 people already in the house. Let's get 100 thumbs up. As you can see on the photo, the guys are lined up. Bryce rocking the velvet. You know who rocked the velvet last year? Devontae Smith. But, Bryce is going with the all black, kind of like the ninja look. I really like it. I'm excited about the show tonight here, for what looks to be back-to-back Heismans for Alabama.
Let's hope so. And there's Trey Yanity. What's up, Trey?
What's up, guys? How's it going? Like Kyle said, hopefully back-to-back Heisman winners here. It'll be the first time since 16-17. Oklahoma did it with Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. But I'm with you guys. I think this one is in the bag. Such a well-deserved award. Excited to talk about the stats tonight. Excited to see you guys. See who's your mom already. Some of our favorites already in the comments. Get those comments in. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the other finalists, too. I mean, this is, for horse race, at least up until tonight. So let us know who you think is going to come in second, third, and fourth, if nothing else. But I'm doing good. How are you doing, Mick?
Doing great. Looking forward to talking to Jay Barker as well. He was in the Heisman race back in 1994, went to New York, so he'll share his experiences with us later on in the show. But, guys, here we are back again. This is the second straight year that Alabama has had a very good shot at winning the Heisman. And what's crazy is we had no idea that when Bryce Young threw his very first touchdown to Devontae Smith in the Kentucky game a year ago, that it would be possibly one Heisman to another Heisman.
Yeah, that was a small taste of greatness, right? Because you look at everything that Devontae Smith did for the University of Alabama, and I loved, Devontae's. Can we get a graphic, by the way, Chris, maybe of Devontae Smith, what he was wearing last year? This is Bryce currently rocking the all velvet, but yeah, what Devontae Smith was able to do was straight ferocious. Every single wide receiver that has come through Alabama, on the big time stage has balled out. But Devontae Smith, in my opinion, he's the top wide receiver, right? And I think that could be debatable. But tonight, Bryce, continues that legacy or has an opportunity to win the Heisman. I think he's going to do it. I think he was like a minus 5,000 favorite in Vegas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. The overwhelming favorite coming into tonight. And it's just crazy to think that Alabama has still never had a Heisman quarterback before, potentially tonight. It's been running backs. We've seen two in Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry. And of course, like you said, Devontae Smith last season. But, this has not been a school that has had great quarterbacks, the best quarterback in the country even. And, I think it kind of speaks to the way that this program is headed. And, the things that Nick Saban, the way he's recruiting nowadays, he's able to get elite quarterbacks. And, personally, I think back in, I think it was 2018, I'd have to get up the list, but to his Heisman year, I think he probably should have won the Heisman. I think Alabama should probably already have a quarterback in there, but I guess that would mean 3 in a row now for the Crimson Tide. So, it would be a little bit wild. There we go with Smitty on the screen there. The velvet rocking it. I think it was, a deep red velvet last year for Devontae Smith. Maybe more of a black velvet tonight for Bryce Young. I think I like Smitty's better. That's my first take, but
1,000,000% I like Smitty's. Nobody's gonna ever beat this outfit right here. In fact, I think that this velvet suit should be retired in the College Football Hall of Fame. I'm dead serious. Seriously, you put on velvet, you have the confidence to rock velvet. This is the biggest alpha move that was ever made at a Heisman Trophy presentation. The only thing that was upsetting was that this was virtual last year, right? Like nobody could be together. And Devontae Smith, he said a couple words up on the podium and then got back to business. Remember, like he was a man of few words, very stoic. Bryce, we can go back to that other image of the guys kind of all together. Be curious to see, what each of these young men have to say and get to hear from their parents. And, you kind of look to how these individuals are, what they've experienced, what they've each brought to the table. I think we have some stats and we can kind of go through each of these numbers. And I know a lot of people still upset that William Anderson is not up here. And that upsets me a tremendous amount because he had such an impactful season for Alabama. And I certainly believe that if he missed a couple games, Alabama isn't where they are today. And I felt the same way about Najee Harris last year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Will Anderson, they said, was 5th in the voting. So he was just out of the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
And besides Bryce Young, you have C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State, Michigan lineman Aiden Hutchinson. And a lot of people feel like when you compare the numbers between Anderson and Hutchinson, that Anderson should be there. But that would put 2 Alabama players in the Heisman ceremony tonight. And then a guy that I think is really good quarterback, Pittsburgh's Kenny Pickett. So you're talking about 4 guys, but you look at Bryce Young's stats. So you have him up there, Kyle. Both of you guys, I guess Kyle first and then Trey. Is there anyone on this field tonight that could possibly beat Bryce Young for this award?
I mean, no. I think the numbers are pretty impressive by Kenny Pickett. I see our graphic is a fake slide here coming up. Awesome job. The numbers are there, but I think when you step back and look at it, CJ Stroud, I think would probably be, if I had a Heisman vote, I'd go Bryce, CJ Stroud, Kenny Pickett, and then Will Anderson, probably something like that. But I think that what Bryce has done in going to and when I really stepped back and kind of looked back at Bryce's season, the things that really stood out to me were the fact that this is his first season taking over the offense, right? He has a new offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien. And then third, he's played a very challenging schedule. You're talking about 3 games on the road in very difficult environments, and he performed very admirably in each of those games. I mean, what he's been able to do towards the back end of the season, I think, completely locked up the Heisman for him. I think a lot of people felt that C.J. Stroud had an opportunity, but then, the game against Michigan, with the Wolverines winning, that kind of left it open for Bryce, and Bryce comes out and balls out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, he really did, Kyle. I mean, well said there. And you look at this season as a whole, Alabama wasn't the clear-cut favorite to maybe even make the playoffs at times this year. We look at 2019, Joe Burrow. That team was maybe the greatest college football team of all time. I mean, there's a clear-cut favorite for the Heisman, too. You look at last season, there's a few different guys on an undefeated Alabama team that, you could have nominated for the Heisman, could have won the Heisman Trophy last year. This season, Alabama's had a different year. They lost a game midway through. They've dealt with the adversity. And the fact that Bryce Young has had the minus odds in gambling that he has, is just a testament to how dominant he has been personally this season, even though Alabama hasn't been quite Alabama this year. And, it's kind of interesting to look at these 4 guys tonight and look at the 4 playoff teams. Alabama and Michigan were the 2 teams that, weren't really expected to make the playoff at times this year. Cincinnati and Georgia were kind of the locks throughout the season, but neither of those schools are represented. Alabama and Michigan are both represented. And, the question, is anybody capable of beating Bryce Young tonight? This is a human-based award, and I think anytime, you leave it up to human voters around the country, craziness can happen. But this year I think it was pretty clear cut. And while we cover Alabama every day, I don't think you could cover any team in the country. And I think you understand that Bryce Young had the best season in college football.
Guys, as you hang out with us, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell. We appreciate all of you that are here with us, over 700 now. So we want 700 thumbs up. Whether you're an Alabama fan or you're just a Michigan State fan, hoping that Alabama or Georgia beats your arch rival Michigan Wolverines, we appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us tonight as we will sit here and have a watch party waiting to see who the 2021 Heisman Trophy winner will be, and Bryce Young, the overwhelming favorite to make it 2 straight. Now, guys, this doesn't happen a whole lot, although Oklahoma just did it a few years ago. Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield won it back-to-back. It was Murray following Mayfield, and then you had, Ohio State had Archie Griffith win twice in a row, and that's it. I mean, this just doesn't happen a whole lot in the modern era of football. But tonight, Alabama has an opportunity, again with Coach Nick Saban, to make history, Kyle.
Yeah, and William, we appreciate the super chat, $99. You know where we're taking that. We got the Nuggets going down, so we appreciate you with a super chat. And yeah, 855 people inside the chat. We are going to have Jay Barker join us on the show. What time is that, Mick? 7:15, 7:20?
Yeah, about 7:15, 7:30 range. He's going to talk about his time, so it's going to be fun to hear from him.
Yeah, and getting back to kind of the back-to-back Heismans, I mean, wouldn't that be really incredible? Everything that Alabama has done over the last, I've been here for now 5 years covering the team. I have the opportunity potentially to see 4 national championships, right? Because, if they get past Cincinnati, then they're going to the championship again. And then you kind of look to 2 Heismans back-to-back years. And the thing that really is amazing is that Alabama, and look at the quarterbacks Alabama has had throughout just the last couple years. One's leading the New England Patriots, the other one's leading the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And one's leading the Miami Dolphins. And we're talking about this young man, Bryce, who's only a sophomore. He'll be the first one potentially to win the Heisman Trophy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. Trey, when you look at the season that Bryce Young has, and Kyle mentioned some of the other quarterbacks that the Crimson Tide have won with here lately, and they're in the NFL, 3 guys that start when they're healthy, right? Tua and Hurts, and then, of course, Mack, who's going to be the Rookie of the Year. What makes Bryce Young as good or better than those guys?
I don't want to say Bryce Young is necessarily better than those guys. I think this race is a lot different this year. I'd like to put all those guys kind of on an even playing field at this point. We have a lot of football to watch Bryce play. We haven't seen him in the NFL yet. We've seen these other guys have success in the pros, but I think Bryce Young is just kind of the next guy up in Alabama. Like Cincinnati has had some quarterbacks kind of pave the way for an Alabama quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy. I think Mac Jones this year would have won it. I think Tua this year would have won the trophy. I think Jalen Hurts this year in his freshman season, you take those stats, he probably wins the trophy. So, I don't want to put Bryce Young ahead of those guys because they had dominant seasons themselves. You look at last year, Najee Harris maybe would win the trophy this season if you take his numbers. So, those guys just kind of had a tougher race. I think Bryce Young, not to say he hasn't had a tough race, and not to say that, if he wins it this year, it won't mean just as much as it has in years past. It's just, he really was the truly the only dominant player throughout the entire season. And, we talked about Heisman moments a lot this year. When is he going to have that Heisman moment? When are we going to see Bryce Young, lead that game-winning drive? And up until that Auburn game, we hadn't seen it. But to be honest with you guys, if he had kept the numbers up, won the SEC title, I don't even think we need that Heisman moment this year. The race is just not as competitive. He had a dominant season. The numbers don't lie. And just watching how he led this team, I think it's safe to say he's probably your next Heisman, 2 in a row for Bama here.
Kyle, I want you to jump in on this too. I feel like, and I want your take, that what Bryce Young has been able to do in helping Alabama this year, I don't know that some of those other guys could have done, and that's dealing with an offensive line that hasn't always been great. And finding the ability to move the ball down the field, even when there's been a lot of breakdowns. I don't know that Mac Jones would have been able to do that. He had the best offensive line ever for Alabama. Obviously, Jalen Hurts could get away from the rush because he's a running quarterback, but he couldn't throw like Bryce Young. I've never seen anyone in college in an Alabama uniform throw quite like he does. And I feel like that makes him different than all of those guys, his ability to look downfield and the pressure. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think it becomes a great point in the fact that it all starts up front, as you always hear with the offensive line. And I think that this offensive line is not comparable to the offensive lines that Alabama has had in the past. And actually, that's something that is concerning as Alabama goes into the playoffs, even against a team like Cincinnati, who has great pass rushing ability. But where Alabama is able to equalize that is the fact that you can't get to Bryce Young. And I love the game plan from Bill O'Brien against Georgia, just getting the football out, being quick, and then having Bryce use his legs a little bit. I mean, I think there was a stat floating around that 40 yards was the most that he's rushed for all season long, which is pretty incredible. And I think Bryce could be a dual threat quarterback if he wanted to, but I think where he really excels and can separate himself from Jalen to a Mac is his side-to-side ability and just kind of having that quick twitch ability and just being a playmaker. I think he's kind of like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patty Mahomes. He's kind of like a combination of those guys, almost has the best of each of those guys, which is crazy. And then this is scary for the rest of college football going forward, is I think that Bryce finally got into a rhythm with his deep ball. And we saw that against Georgia. I mean, he was pinpoint down the field. And I think that was, I love the aggressive game plan, letting him go down the field. We do have stats on, I wanted to go over Kenny Pickett and We have some other finalist stats. We have Stroud. So here we go. We have there's Kenny Pickett's stats just for reference. I mean, what a season. And I love this. Thanks for putting this photo on there, Chris. I mean, this is the fake slide, and it got everybody all the NCAA's all pissed off about this, right? They're like going to address this.
They did.
Yeah.
Soft. Yeah, they made a rule. They made a rule about the fake slide. Now you're not allowed to do it anymore, apparently. I thought it was pretty soft, but I'm not on the rules committee.
No, it's banned.
Yeah, I don't. Mick, you're having some sort of.
I know what is going on.
I don't know. I'll cover it. Maybe reset. Kenny Pickett on the season. I mean, 4,300 yards, 42 touchdowns, and I think Addison. I was a tremendous receiver for Pitt. I thought Pitt did a great job this year. What was your take on Pitt and kind of Kenny Pickett getting here, and what Pittsburgh's been able to do this year in the ACC, Trey?
Oh, it's a fun story. And I mean, I really kind of took notice of this team when they went down to Tennessee and got that crazy win. Cause I thought Tennessee was going to be a pretty capable team, and they obviously turned out to have a decent enough season. And Pittsburgh obviously excelled their expectations. This team, I think at the end of the day, would have just wanted a berth to the ACC title. That would have been more than enough. But, the fact that they beat Clemson, beat DJU Youngallele, won their division, won the conference title, in a shootout game and had a Heisman finalist. This is, one of the greatest seasons we've seen in Pittsburgh football in a long time. And this is, somewhat of a storied program as well. So it's good to see them get back and, have some new energy there. And for Kenny Pickett, I mean, it's just so fun to watch him play, because you could tell he's really having a lot of fun. He kind of reminded me of Kyle Trask last season. Just plays very loose, and he's going to talk some smack a little bit. Wears both gloves on his hands or whatever. He's doing the fake slides. Just a big personality. I love watching teams like Pittsburgh, and very deserving to be in New York. Obviously, his season didn't look like Bryce Young's, and he didn't play as hard of a schedule and whatever else. So I don't think he's going to win the award. I think he knows that, and I think he's okay with that. Being a Heisman finalist is an unbelievable honor. The fact that he got to New York with this Pittsburgh team that nobody expected to be in this position, at the beginning of the season is remarkable, and it is, a lot to respect up there in Pittsburgh right
now. Trey, I wanted to ask you, and for everybody out in the comment box as well, this is, I mean, I know you guys are fired up about William Anderson not being at the ceremony, right? And when you look to Aiden Hutchinson's numbers, I just wanted to bring it on, and I think there's another graphic that we had on one of our last shows to kind of compare the two. What's everyone's take in the comment box about Hutchinson being in this position up at the podium in New York City, not Will Anderson, and kind of get your guys' take on Hutchinson and Michigan's season overall as we have the stats on the screen. Go back to you, Mick. Glad you're back.
Yeah, look, I think that you bring up a great point, and I can't wait to see what everyone else has to say about this. Not to take anything away from Aiden Hutchinson in Michigan. I mean, look, they've had a great season, and he's been, a dominant presence on their defensive line. But when you put his stats up to Will Anderson, or really anyone in the country defensively, Will Anderson got robbed because he's on Alabama's football team, I feel like. Trey, how about you?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, Mick. And, my dad made a good point the other day. We were talking about it. If Bryce Young isn't a finalist, if Will Anderson has a different name on his jersey, he probably is a finalist. But Alabama gets one to New York, and voters, at the end of the day, they don't want to put two guys on the same team on their ballot. And I think, you look at Will Anderson's numbers, they realize he's a sophomore. He's going to have another go-round next year. Aiden Hutchinson has been a dog on this Michigan team and has earned, this night has earned being a finalist. But, it really is nothing else except for Alabama fatigue. And I don't want to be that guy with the stereotypes and the cliches, saying stuff like that. But, look at the numbers and look at the numbers, not just against Aiden Hutchinson. Look at the numbers. I think we had that graphic the other day against Joey Bosa, against Chase Young, against, their careers. It's not even close. And, for the kid to have twice as many tackles for loss, twice as many tackles, more sacks, and not get the vote, just make sure you scratch your head a little bit. But like I said, Will Anderson's a sophomore. And, like I said the other night, for Bryce Young and Will Anderson, they could walk away with no hardware tonight. It doesn't matter. This team is going to the playoff. Bryce Young had an interview today. What did he talk about? The Heisman Trophy, personal honors? No, he was talking about his team, what they need to do to beat Cincinnati, what they need to do to win a national title. Will Anderson got robbed for this award. He should be in New York right now, but he's focused on Dallas. I think, him and Bryce both, that's where their mind is. But, good luck to Aiden Hutchinson, and congratulations on an incredible season.
It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. The overwhelming favorite to win the Heisman is Alabama's quarterback, which would be the first time Alabama has a quarterback that won a Heisman. But there was a guy that got really close to winning a Heisman that is part of our crew. And when he's ready, we're going to bring on Jay Barker. Jay, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to jump on. All right, let's bring Jay Barker on. You guys ready for Jay? There he is. What's up, dude?
What's up, guys? How are y'all? Everything good? Heisman night, man.
Yeah, we're pretty fired up, man. Well, first off, welcome to the show. And secondly, do you have some feelings when you watch this ceremony, being that you were part of one?
Yeah, I think the whole week is just crazy. ESPN awards to individual awards was the Johnny Unitas for myself, and then doing the Heisman, getting there, meeting all the guys. We had 6, which I wish they would expand it to 10, to be honest, because I think like this year, you would have 9 fan bases that would be watching tonight, interested in seeing whether or not their team or their player had a chance. And they've got the money to spend on that. They've got the money to provide that for those athletes. And what a great experience to go to New York, to be a part of something like this that you can talk about for the rest of your life. It is a unique fraternity. It's a great group of guys. And I think we're going to get our first quarterback tonight, no doubt. Bryce should be the front runner, no doubt about it, because of how he's played. But I just love his character off the field as much.
Hey, Jay, what's up, man? Good to see you on the show. And
What's up,
everybody on YouTube, man. I mean, they get to watch you every single day, but I think like more interaction, like people want to talk to Jay Barker. So this is a great opportunity. Glad you're with us tonight on the Heisman Show. I have a question for you before we kind of dive more into Bryce Young. And I completely agree. Who Bryce is off the field, you guys don't understand it. I mean, this young man is, he's just a product of his parents. He's such a great person. But the one person I wanted to ask you about is William Anderson. You don't have to give me the full spiel, but were you kind of surprised? I know he finished 5th, but don't you think that, he should have been possibly up at this podium? What was kind of your take on that? And I'm interested to get your take on William Anderson, because he's just had such an impact on this team, probably equal to as Bryce Young.
Yeah, a huge leader on the field, off the field, in the locker room, really stepped up when Alabama needed that leadership early in the year and then midway through the year as well. And Kyle, if you look at the numbers, tackles, he's double Aiden Hutchinson. If you look at tackles for loss, he's double Aiden Hutchinson. If you look for sacks, he is 2 more, I think it is, than Aiden Hutchinson. Not downplaying Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson should be there. He's a great player. He's a great leader. He's an upperclassman, right? So I don't know if being an Alabama guy or being a sophomore hurt Will Anderson more, but he deserves to be there tonight. He has been the most dominant player in college football on the defensive side especially, but maybe the most dominant in college football. He got the Nagurski Award, which means you're the best college defensive player in the country, and you're not sitting there with if another defensive player wasn't there, then I'd go, okay, I get it. It's just about, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, but they put another guy in front of him. And again, nothing against Aiden, great player, great character, been a great leader, but Will should have been there tonight.
Guys, as you hang out, if you like seeing Jay Barker, give us a thumbs up here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Like and subscribe as you hang out with us. This is the Heisman Watch Party. And as you know, if you've been here before and if you're just joining us for the first time, we cover Alabama like no other. Jay has his show that comes on Monday through Friday from noon to 2. We have all kind of other things going on as well. Nick Saban's press conferences, all of that stuff leading up to football games, and then recruiting like no one else. On Wednesday, we'll have recruiting all day long as Alabama tries to have the number 1 class. Jay, I talked to Roger Schultz today, and I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked him. Everyone that remembers that era of football compares Will Anderson to Derek Thomas. Obviously, Will didn't get invited to the Heisman. We all feel like he should be there right now. What do you think about that comparison?
I think it's a great comparison to some degree. I mean, Derek could play pretty much all over the field. I mean, I never forget the Penn State game. I forget how many sacks he had or tackles, and they lined him up at nose guard, middle linebacker, strong, Sam, Jack. I mean, they pretty much put him everywhere on that field to get the ability to rush. I think Will could do that too. I just think now there's just so much talent around him as well. But that's a great comparison. I think, Will would say himself that he's such a humble kid or young man, and he really has accepted his role. And for him to be mentioned in the same breath as a Derek Thomas, I think just says a lot about the character of the young man, as well as, more importantly, the performance, or not more importantly, but what he's being judged on, the performance on the field. Again, he should have been there tonight. He's not. Maybe this gives him motivation heading into this Cincinnati game to prove that he is the best defensive player that in the country, and just more motivation for him and some other guys may not have had a chance to be there tonight. But he has been a key part. And what's amazing about it too is we brought this up and talked about a lot on the show today. And I was talking to Braxton tonight at dinner. Is that you've got the best defensive player in the country, the best offensive player in the country. You got Malachi Moore, who hopefully will get healthier as the year goes on. You got a ton of other young players that will be at the core nucleus of this team next year. I mean, this team was really perceived to be the next year kind of team based on their youth. And what they've done this year has been just tremendous. So if they can do that again, I mean, you're talking about 3 championships or possible championships in a row. You're talking about maybe a Bryce Young since Archie Griffin having a chance to win back-to-back Heisman trophies. And a lot of that has to do with whether or not J-Mo comes back, whether or not other guys can plug in and really be effective on the offensive side of the football. But it's an exciting times, once again, for Alabama. And what a night tonight. Hopefully get the first quarterback for Alabama to win the Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, Kyle.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, great stuff. I really appreciate you kind of going in depth on William Anderson and kind of giving the spiel about these younger players. And I've been talking about this all year, is the fact that this team at the beginning of the year, they played sophomoric, right? Because the leaders of the team were sophomores, Bryce Young, William Anderson. And just as you said, we are all kind of looking to the 2022 team. And now that you have these guys playing more like juniors, I think we're starting to see almost next year's types team, because these guys are now upperclassmen. Saban always says these guys aren't freshmen, true freshmen they are in January, but they're not by December. They're sophomores. And I think the same is for these guys now. They're playing like juniors. And I think looking at the game against Georgia, you really started to see everything start clicking. As we look at Bryce Young's numbers on the screen, I mean, I keep saying they're like video game type numbers. Jay, you had some great numbers. These numbers are ridiculous by Bryce Young. Tell us what you like about Bryce, kind of from the beginning of the season to where he's at now, and just the season in total that he's put together as a sophomore.
First of all, those are my career numbers, much less 1 year. When I'm looking at the yardage and the touchdowns, my gosh. Okay, first of all, when he got to campus, I remember talking to my son about him and saying, what kind of young man is he? And he said he's phenomenal. He's already, the players love him. He's going to be a different type of personality. You look at Mac was more of that in your face, really intense, getting prepared. And Bryce the same way as far as preparation, but he's not so much in your face. He's more of that, I'm going to lead through my actions. I'm going to show you kind of what I can do on the field. I'm going to stay calm under intense excitement and intense disappointment. And I think that calmness has really helped the team, especially because it is young. And I think that that's really been a key for him. His ability, and I know Kirby brought this up, we've talked about it, his spatial awareness in the pocket, the way that he's able to see things, make plays, whether it's a throw to JoJo Earl, whether it's a toss to, B-Rob, those type of plays are just an athlete being an athlete playing backyard football. And what he's been able to do, I think the line of scrimmage is, and I say this not based on what I'm seeing, based on what I know from being, not from me being in those rooms, but you know what I'm saying. So he is able to see things very, very quickly, where Matt could see things and respond and bring things in and be able to say, okay, I got to go here to here. He'll come to the sideline and he can tell the coaches and the quarterbacks exactly what fronts, what secondaries he saw, and he's got the pictures in his mind. That's stuff you see in the NFL. That's not stuff you see in college. That takes a lot of time, a lot of preparation. So he's already got kind of that secret sauce of having that quick ability to read, scan, and take pictures of what he sees, take it back to the sideline, discuss it with the coaches, and begin to make adjustments. So I think that's a key thing for him. But more importantly, he's a great thrower, quick release, accurate, can make any throw on the field, can take speeds off the ball. As complete of a quarterback that I've seen in a long time.
Jay, how important has he been to the success of this team? Would they be in position to win the national championship if one of the other quarterbacks had started from the beginning?
Yeah, I don't want to compare the others because others have different talents and gifts. And then Bill O'Brien would have been adjusted his offense and the things that he did to that, and could have been productive and could have been very, very successful. But Bryce put a lot of this on his shoulders this year, did a lot of great things, moving around, making plays, and it really helped with some of the deficiencies that we saw with his offensive line or running backs getting hurt. So he's phenomenal player, unbelievable. He'll be ranked as one of the top, if not the top, when he's finished, quarterbacks to ever play behind center at Alabama. And especially if he wins tonight the Heisman, that sets him in a different category. And then if he's able to win the championship this year, win it again. Championships are what you're defined by at Alabama, not individual trophies. So tonight's huge for him. Win it tonight and then go win the championship. That's the most important thing for him as an Alabama quarterback.
Yeah, he's a huge favorite to win it, guys. As you hang out with us, please like and subscribe to Bama Insider YouTube channel. This is our Heisman watch party. Kyle Henderson and Jay Barker. And I'm Mick Gillispie, and we all appreciate you being here.
Hey, Jay, when you kind of look to the playoffs and you look to Cincinnati and you look at this time that Alabama has to prep for the Bearcats and Luke Fickell, who's done a tremendous job. We were talking about, the job that he's done the other night on our award show. How big of a loss is John Mechie missing the playoffs? Because when you look at the targets, clearly the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, Bryce almost targets him like 13 times a game or something like that. You look at it from kind of a silent leader. We all know John Mechie, he's probably not the most vocal guy, but that he's an alpha and he's out there, and that makes you play better just because of his experience level. When you kind of look forward, how big of a loss is Mechie? What do you kind of anticipate when you look to this receiver room about Alabama, going forward into the playoffs, specifically at the wide receiver position?
Yeah, huge loss for Alabama from a leadership standpoint. What Mechie did down the field as far as blocking over the last few years for the Jerry Judys, for the Waddles, for the guys who've gone on, Devontae Smith, won the Heisman, and even for J-Mo this year, was huge. And I'll tell you a guy that really stepped up to me 2 or 3 games ago is Ja'Cory Brooks. I mean, he really began. We saw him making blocks down the field, springing J-Mo for openings and getting him to the 2 touchdowns and doing the things he needed to do. Then making that catch against Georgia. I mean, that's a huge catch that kind of got swallowed up by all the other plays that kind of went into that with Auburn. So you had that catch, and then you had the 4 overtimes. But that catch as a young player to make it in that moment when you haven't been called upon a lot that during the year was huge for him, and I think huge for Alabama, and seeing him step up. And then you've got other guys that are younger that can step up. I want to see JoJo Earl hopefully get healthier because he could be a huge playmaker for Alabama as well. But Mechie will be missed. But Coach Saban talks about next guy up. You hate to say that because he'll still be missed. I hate that Job's going to be out. That's where hopefully Armour Davis is going to get healthier, and he'll be out. He's played really well this year, and other guys at that defensive back position. But he'll definitely be missed, Kyle. But I think there's young guys that can step up, and this is your chance to really shine. And Ja'Cory did that in the Auburn game.
Jay, Heisman moments have become part of this award. I mean, you pay attention to it. You were part of it. How big was having a Heisman moment in that Auburn game to Bryce Young potentially winning tonight?
It was huge. And I think also that others who were maybe leading at that time didn't quite have the games that people thought they might late in the year. It's always, you get to that point, and then late in the year, you got to make those plays. And, the drive he had against Auburn, the 4 overtimes, the passes, the accuracy, just the calmness he had. I mean, I think it was 3rd and 10 backed up. He makes that completion. And then the 4th and 7 to Billingsley was huge to make that throw. I mean, that's a lot of pressure for not only for the quarterback, but also for the receiver to get open, watch the ball in, catch it, get out of bounds. And then for them to go on and win that game. And then what he did against Georgia, the top defense in the country. This is a defense, Mick, we even talked about, is that, this is maybe a kind of a generational defense, what they've done, the numbers they put up. And yet for him to go out there and put all this together the way that he has just been phenomenal. And to see him just in a sense dissect, or as a surgeon, go in and just really take apart what Georgia was doing defensively, and to really put it on his shoulders to throw the ball, where normally at 4th down and inches or 1, you run the ball. In Alabama, instead, Bill O'Brien did a really good job of knowing what was his best attribute, best thing to do that game, used it, and that was Bryce Young. And that's why we see him tonight sitting here probably and possibly and should be the Heisman Trophy winner tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how the Heisman moment has become such a big part of winning this award, right? I mean, he had that moment. Like, you go back, and Smitty had it last year with the catch in the end zone against LSU. Statistically, the Auburn game was the worst game of the year. But you know what? He had the moment.
He did. And, it's one of those things where I think it's just more about, used to is about more of your career and more about what you've done for a long period of time. Now, because of life, social media, it's what have you done for me lately? It's what is happening right now in the moment. So we're all caught up in that. So, now it's not about that, you've had this great career, which, for him, he's had 1 year. I think that's the other thing, Kyle, that you brought up earlier, asking me, like, what's the difference in him, is that he didn't have a lot of reps last year. I mean, this has been his first year really starting, getting a chance to play, and to see how he's really matured as a quarterback, but more importantly, the team has really come around him and realized that how special of a player that he is. And again, I think that goes back to not just his play on the field, I think it's off the field, his leadership, and his parents deserve a lot of credit for that. The coaches who coached him up before he got to Alabama deserve a lot of credit for that for tonight as well, because they impacted a lot into his life and taught him a ton of not only how to be a great quarterback, but also how to be a great person, a great teammate. And also, somebody I think that we as fans and alumnus and former players can really not only admire, but also really look at and say, okay, that's a great ambassador for our university.
Hey, everybody, inside the comment box, first of all, give a thumbs up. We have Jay Barker on, Mick doing a great job hosting the show, so hit the thumbs up. And then, yeah, we're not showing the actual Heisman ceremony. We can't do that. It's copyright violation. So you can turn on your TV. You can watch the ceremony. This is basically just a watch party kind of behind the scenes. So do what you want. Don't feel like you have to stay here and watch the ceremony. This is kind of a Alabama football kind of open forum right now. We're just kind of shooting the breeze kind of back and forth, talking about I almost, it almost said, right? But we're peppering Jay while we have him on here, and it's great to have Jay Barker on the show. So I appreciate you stopping in, Jay. I wanted to ask you kind of about the offensive game plan against Georgia, and I was thinking, like, where has this offensive game plan been all year almost? Because I love the fact how they were getting the ball out quick, but then it also allowed for Alabama to be aggressive, to go over the top. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel that Alabama specifically, I don't know if they necessarily stayed away from the deep ball as much at the beginning of the season with Bryce, but I feel like he really found his continuity downfield, especially with Jameson Williams, considering the speed that he has. And I think that we've started to see Bryce Young's deep ball accuracy get better, which I think is very scary for the rest of college football.
Yeah, I think it's important sometimes, or it can be dangerous for us as fans or analysts to look at stuff and not, if we don't see the game film and understand how they're lining up against certain formations, or what are their tendencies in certain downs and distances. I mean, Auburn just played a great game against Alabama. They really did. Offensively, they did enough. Defensively, they did a lot as far as really disrupting the offense, especially when it came to putting pressure on Bryce. And I think Bill O'Brien just had to keep adjusting as it went on. And I agree with you. I mean, I think, even Bill, think about coming from the NFL to back to college game. It's a different way of calling offenses, a different way of approaching when you're in the red zone. Instead of, hey, we're going to throw it 3 or 4 times. Now it's about running it 2 or 3 times, or play action pass. So it's just a little bit different mindset. So I think that coaches, and not saying that Coach O'Brien had to learn, but I think you do learn about who are my players, where are my weapons. I mean, again, it's their first year together, working in this system that they've had to adapt to and put some of their fingerprints on, or put their kind of DNA into. But Coach Saban is going to keep it what he wants it to be. So, I think they adjusted well at times. I think at times they did not. I think at times players didn't make plays. At times offensive line did not block the way that they should, even though schemes were put together for that. At times Bryce did not protect himself the way that he should at the line of scrimmage, making calls, making adjustments. But in the end, they're SEC champions. In the end, they got it done. And, results is what counts. Never confuse activities with accomplishments. Coach Stallings just always tell us, always look at results. Results are what counts.
Yeah, no doubt. Guys, as you hang out with us, like, subscribe, hit the bell, thumbs up. That's a way of saying roll tide as you hang with us here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. This is our Heisman watch party. Kyle Henderson and Jay Barker, who's been to the ceremony before. He's been a finalist before, and I'm Mick Gillispie. Jay, take us through the process of technically being a finalist, what it's like going to New York, what the behind the scenes are like. Did you guys have a ceremony like they do now with ESPN?
We did. Actually, the ESPN Awards, the first year was that year. Chris Fowler, Craig James. Remember, Craig James was the Herb Street of the time, Lee Cortza. So we went down to Orlando. Eric Zier and I had a room together, and we had the ESPN Awards. The next night I flew to Louisville, Kentucky, and went to the Johnny Unitas Awards. I got the Johnny Unitas Award that night, met and sat next to Johnny Unitas, one of the best moments of my life. Went to Louisville Slugger manufacturer, or the factory where they built the bats, and they had a bat made up where they had engraved, Unitas winner, Jay Barker, University of Alabama. And then the next day flew to New York on that Friday. Got to New York and got to meet all the guys who were there. So it was Kajana Carter, Kerry Collins, Rashawn Salon, and Steve McNair and myself. So that was the 6 guys there. And so they gave us bags to here's some workout stuff if you want it. So we all were like, let's go play basketball. So we put on our stuff, went out to the basketball court. It was us 6, and we kind of substituted in and out, and playing against 5 guys from the Downtown Athletic Club in New York. And they would kind of switch some guys out. We had a blast. I mean, I never forget in the warm-ups watching Warren Sapp go up and do a 360 slam at 6'1", about 315 pounds. And I was like, that's an amazing athlete right there. So, and I'd played against him in '92 in the national championship game. And, he had moved from a tight end slot to that defensive tackle position where he became an All-American and also became an All-Pro. And the guy that was in front of him before is The Rock, who was, the rest of
Dwayne
the
Johnson.
So he moved from tight end to defensive tackle and ends up taking his spot. But that whole weekend, I tell you, probably the things I remember the most, number one, is when I remember the SID comes to me at Alabama and says, "Hey, you're a finalist in the Heisman. You're going to New York."
Who was that, Jay? By chance?
Yeah, it was. I mean, if you.
Sorry, just keep going. Yeah.
No. I'm trying. I mean, I was in my mind trying to think about it, and I know who it is. I just in my mind.
Larry White.
It's not coming up. Yes, thank you, Larry White.
Okay,
Larry, phenomenal guy. Yeah, Larry, phenomenal guy, and he comes and I was on the bus getting ready for. We were heading to the SEC championship game. He said, "Hey, we got the ESPN awards coming up on, I think it was Wednesday night. We got the Johnny Unitas." He goes, "And guess what? We're heading to New York." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me." So that was a phenomenal thing. And then the other thing I remember too is just that my family was there. My dad was there for me for that. And then my dad passed away when I was at the Combine in '95 on February the 12th. So that was one of our last kind of big moments together. And then, so that's very special to see that film of him, my mom and my sister and family there to be a part of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have Bryce Young right now. So if you have ESPN turned on, Bryce Young is talking right now. He's up there with his mother, Julie, and his father, Craig, and they're talking about Bryce. And I mean, what a great family, and what a great opportunity for the family as a whole to go to New York City, just as Jay was talking about. Now, Bryce is the only child, so you can, the emphasis, must be so great for them to just see him in this shining moment. And I love the velvet, man, because like I said earlier in the show, Devontae rocked the velvet. And remember, please, I'm the first one to come up with this, that I think that should be put in the College Football Hall of Fame. That this specific suit is fire. And then Bryce, I love the velvet approach. So next year, Bryce is up here again. He has to rock the velvet. Here's Craig Young. He's rocking the turtleneck. Remember the other night? Yeah. About the turtlenecks. So turtlenecks are back, I guess, and I'm here for it.
How often do you wear turtlenecks, Jay?
I do not. I hate them. I think I wore them to my 1990 homecoming. I think that's what it was. It was like a royal blue.
See the colors.
There you go, Kyle. Yeah, your blue turtleneck.
Done with that one.
Yeah, it was crazy. The other night, Jay, I was talking.
I'm too claustrophobic.
Yeah. The other night, I was talking about the turtlenecks, and like I had a year where I was obviously younger. I was like in 5th grade, but man, I was all about the turtlenecks. I don't know what took over me. So Jay, I wanted to ask you about this because I said this, and they're talking with Bryce now. I'm sure this is great. Here's Coach Saban right here. This is what I was going to ask you about. Before the season, I think it was last season, somebody told me that Saban has, and this is crazy because I've said this before. I've told Mick this before. Mick thinks I'm crazy every time I bring it up. but someone said that Saban isn't close to hitting his peak in terms of like, winning championships and stuff. And you look at the job that he did this year with this specific team being so young, kind of, I mean, your take on the GOAT as, he's 70, he's got this team going to the playoffs, has an opportunity to win a national title, another Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, it seems like he gets younger every time I look at him. He's still coaching out there. He had that hip replacement, and man, they must have done a couple more things because he's moving great, he's looking great. And kind of your take on just kind of the GOAT in general, Nick Saban.
Yeah, I had a chance to know and experience Coach Saban as a person from the media side, and also as a coach of my son. So I've seen a lot of different things about him, and I'll just tell you this: I mean, he is committed to excellence and all those things. He's not perfect; nobody is. But he strives for that perfection, and you can see it in all the things and everything. The way things are set up, whether it's a card for every person that's walking into his office, he has a little information that his secretary gives him about them, so he has something to talk about. Whether it's in recruiting, just his ability to not just do social media, but wants to get on the phone and talk to the recruit and say, hey, this is why we want you to come to Alabama, but we want you to want to come here as well. I love that about the fact that he doesn't sit there and promise playing time. He says you can come compete. And I think a lot of players, if you're the best at what you do, you love that competition as well and want to compete against the best. And just what he's accomplished, on the field and off the field. I mean, off the field, look, we can talk about all these awards and stuff, but look at all the kids who graduated. Look at all the guys who have gone through and got multiple degrees. Slade Bolden being one of those today. Graduating and multiple degrees after they're done in 4 or 5 years. So just all around, I think developing the athlete, really getting guys ready and prepared for the NFL and really prepared for life and what that's going to look like in this network of players over the next 20 or 30 years. He's made a huge impact, not only on Alabama University, but on these players, their families, their lives, their future families, husbands, and women, or their wives, wives and kids, and all the things that are going to happen down the road. But we'll see. It's been a fun run, 15 years, and I agree with you. I think he is sharp as can be. I think he's healthy as can be. And everybody says, "How long do you think?" I'm like, at least 8 or 10 more years. I mean, this guy's can go. Yeah, he's got a process. He's got a plan. That's what matters, and he's the one that can really execute it more than anybody.
It's amazing. Guys, as you hang out with us here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up. There's, almost 2,000 of you guys here tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you guys for hanging out with us. Make sure you hit the bell so that you know when Bama Insider has shows coming on, like Jay's show. Jay Barker's show comes on each and every day. You can watch it, listen from 12 to 2 right here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Kind of following up on what Kyle said. Jay, to me, it's amazing that Nick Saban has been able to transform his style. I watched Georgia, and I feel like that they just haven't quite adapted to what it takes to win on the offensive side of the football. They're stuck, as everyone that watches knows, I say this all the time, they're like Brad Paisley's song, Old Alabama. Like they're like, but not the group. They're like old Alabama from 2009. Like, we're going to hand the ball off. We're going to control the clock. We're going to play great defense. But to win now, you have to play great offense too. And it just seems like Nick Saban has been able to adapt so many different times.
He has. And I tell you, I'll never forget, and I've never shared this many times, that when he finally looked at the press, I think it was after a game, and he said, "Look, is this the way we're going to play? Okay, this is the way we're going to play. Then I got it. If we're not going to change the rule from 3 yards down the field to 1 yard like the NFL, if we're going to play this style, then all right, then I'm going to adjust." And he did in a big way. I'll never forget when Urban Meyer won that game at Ohio State. Was that 2015? I think it was.
Yeah.
And Ohio State wins. After the game, I remember being on the radio, talking to national media, going on ESPN, going on Fox and other national shows. And they're like, the GOAT, he's over. He's done. He's finished. Urban Meyer now's the guy. And look where Urban Meyer ended up. And I mean, he's in the NFL. Good for him. But, still, everybody always discounts what he does, how he prepares, and that he loves what he does, loves the process, loves getting these players ready to play. And, I tell you, people keep doubting him at times, and every time they doubt him, he returns the favor with success to the Alabama fans. And that's the thing about him, is that he has got an unbelievable competitiveness about him, but more importantly, just a work ethic and a drive that most people do not have and never will have.
Yep, no doubt. We're still waiting on the announcement of the 2021 Heisman Trophy winner, and expecting Bryce Young to win that award here shortly with Jay Barker, who was at the ceremony in 1994 after quarterbacking Alabama to a national championship in 92. And you guys know that that he does a show every day. I just mentioned it right here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel or across the state of Alabama into Florida. You can listen to Jay Barker from noon to 2 every day. I'm Mick Gillispie, and yeah, I mean, here we go. I mean, we're waiting right now to see if Bryce Young becomes the first ever quarterback to win this award. And, you know, Jay being so close to it as you were back in 94, I'm sure you got some butterflies for Bryce.
There's no doubt about it. You know, AJ McCarron went into second in the voting, a MAC top 5 or whatever. I mean, we've had a number of guys who've been there and had a chance to experience it, but never have won it. And I'll tell you, I showed my press release the other day. I don't know if you saw my media release that I sent out or showed to all the people on the show, and it was like arts and craft. I mean, it was like 2 pieces of arts and craft red paper with about that much of media hype or whatever. So it's this one thing that looked like been done in 5th or 6th grade. It's an arts and craft deal. And even the font and stuff. I mean, Matt Coulter and I and Lars were just laughing about it. I'm like, but this was it. I mean, this is what we sent out to the national media for hype. So when Coach Saban got there, it went from Coach Bryant saying, we're not about individual trophies. And everybody kind of carried that same mantra to where I think Coach Saban realized, okay, individual trophies are okay as long as you're winning championships. As long as you're doing the things you need to do as a team, if you're having great success, those things should come along with it. And that's what's happened. I mean, just look at all the awards that have been won since he got there. He also realizes, too, how important, Mick, that is for recruiting, for guys who, you know, it's just a different day and time. And he just continues to adjust to it.
Yeah, and I mean, here we're at the part of the ceremony right now, Jay, where they start showing all the guys that have won it in the past. It's almost like the Hall of Fame in baseball, you know, where not only do you win, but you become part of a fraternity for the rest of your life. And a lot of those guys return back to New York every year for the ceremony. And, you know, once you're in, then you're also in car commercials at the Heisman House. So
that's what I brought that up the other day. I'm like, now, does that mean that when he wins it, he'll now with the NIL can go be a part of the Heisman Nissan commercial? I mean, I think that's the case. You're talking, this isn't local Nissan. This is national Nissan. This is worldwide. So, and there's no telling what that number or that contract may be for Bryce Young as he heads into after this year and just being able to celebrate that. It's crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy. I mean, I can't even imagine. We talked about the other day, like, what is the value of the Heisman now with NIL? If you win the Heisman, how much money does that equate to? And I mean, it's in the millions. I mean, multi-millions. So we'll see. But, you know, Bryce got a level head. He's got great parents, got great accountability around him, a great sounding boards around him as well. So I think he'll make good decisions. They just need to keep their eye on the prize, and that's winning that national championship.
I've already got the Daniel Moore print ready for this Heisman, and that would be his first ever touchdown pass last year to Smitty in Kentucky. Think about that. One Heisman to another Heisman. I don't know that that's ever happened in the history of college football.
Yeah, I don't know if that's happened either. That would, it'd be a great picture. It wouldn't so much define his Heisman year, but still would be great to see that, you know, based on the 2 Heisman guys. But yeah, I'm waiting for the song to come out, Bryce Baby, you know. So somebody I'm sure is going to make a meme of that.
Well, we're all kind of on pins and needles right now with Jay Barker. I'm Mick Gillispie. Guys, we're about to know who the Heisman Trophy winner is. And I want you guys to like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Over 2,000 of you guys, and we expect to have 2,000 thumbs up, whether you're Alabama fans or not. We really appreciate you being here tonight, part of our Heisman watch party. And, you know, they have
all right.
Did he win?
It says he has won. That's what I see.
I'm a little delayed. Back to back.
That's
Alabama. Yeah.
Well, that's a great one-liner there.
Yeah, no, it was great. Back to back, though, Jay. Back to back. They got it done. Bryce Young wins the Heisman. I don't know that there was a whole lot of suspense here. He was the front runner for the award the entire season. But I'm going to tell you, there was a point in the Auburn game in the Iron Bowl where I thought that not only was Alabama going to lose to those guys, which makes me sick, that it was also going to cost him the Heisman. And that was before the miracle on the plains took place.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I felt the same way. And, but he was able to stay in and, play within himself and do the things he needed to do, keep his team focused in and made the plays to win that game. Not just, as far as the drives, the 4 overtimes. I mean, it's just to keep that up in the mental capacity, the psychological, emotional drain that you go through in a game, for him to stay as calm and as even keel is really a testament to him, but also for his teammates to see that, react to that, and react in a positive way they did. And after that, I think gained so much confidence after that game going into that Georgia game as well. So, what a great moment for him. Congratulations to Bryce Young, the 2021 Heisman Trophy, the first ever Heisman Trophy winner as a quarterback for the University of Alabama. And I can't think of anybody that's better representative of that than Bryce Young.
Yeah, well said, man. There's just so much to this besides the fact that the guy has led Alabama to an SEC title, a win against Georgia, into the college football playoff. But, to do this, to come over from California, to wait his turn behind Mac Jones. Jay, honestly, I felt like he was going to push Mac Jones for that job had COVID not taken out the preseason. I thought that Alabama, just knowing what he could bring to the table, and at that time, Mac Jones really wasn't a commodity. I mean, the way that it worked out, though, I feel like it worked out perfectly for Alabama because he got a chance to learn Bryce Young. Alabama won the national championship, and Mac Jones got his opportunity as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, again, you're right. If that had spring practice, a lot of expectations on Bryce coming in as far as being, I think at that time, the number 2 quarterback in the country behind DJ at Clemson. From some, they had him at number 1. Others had DJ at number 1. But not having that spring, not having the summer to work out with the receivers and the running backs to get that chemistry, that gave Mac a lot of room to and also you got to also commend Mac. He went out, worked on his own one-on-one with coaches and worked on his mental game as well as his physical game. That's why he had such a successful career. I think he realized that he was going to get pushed by a guy like Bryce. You watch him on tape in high school. That made Mac Jones a better player, pushed him to work harder. And so back-to-back Heisman trophies for the Crimson Tide, Devontae Smith, Bryce Young. Man, what a last 2 years it's been for this program. And again, Coach Saban and his coaching staff deserve a lot of credit. Bryce's coaches back in high school, back in Little League, his dad, his mom, all of his family. Support system is what really helps and counts in all of life. And he definitely has seemed to have that from a long time ago. And I think that's important to recognize it and to realize how important those people have been to his life on the field, but more importantly, off the field.
National Signing Day, the early National Signing Day is on Wednesday, Jay. We're going to be covering it here on Bama Insider. Like we do every year, it'll be all day long coverage of what's going on as Alabama tries to sign the number 1 class again. How does back-to-back Heismans help Nick Saban go out and recruit against these other schools?
Man, I'm telling you, a big time, because, you prove again and again that, hey, we come in, we develop you, we're going to give you opportunities, you're going to play around the best talent. And all these quarterbacks who have been at Alabama the last few years, I mean, think about, you've got 2 first-round draft picks in quarterback, 1 second-round draft pick. You're going to have probably another in Bryce. That's 3 first-rounders, 1 second-rounder. But all the talent that's around these guys, too. I mean, and they'll admit it. I mean, it's to have a great offensive line, to have a run game, to have the skill guys beside you. I think that's what's made Bryce's year so special, is that the offensive line hasn't been at par of what we remember about an Alabama, or know about an Alabama offensive line under Nick Saban. The running backs got depleted as the year went on. Receivers, your best guy goes out against Auburn in the first half, but yet you're able to step up and make a play. So he's had to, as a sophomore quarterback, carry a lot of the load of this team. But to have 2 Heisman back-to-back, Mick, is definitely a huge recruiting tool for Nick Saban. And more importantly, I think just, it's a great thing for, these guys to realize they can come in, sit, wait your turn. And if you do that, success will follow. Don't worry about chasing the immediate playing time. Just know what you're going to have around you. And if you can sustain that period of time, you're going to have success. And you may end up winning a Heisman or an individual award, but you probably going to have a chance to play in the NFL. And it's just whether or not you're willing to buy that time. And in this day and time society, a lot of young kids are not patient enough to realize what that looks like, what that could be. And then by their impatience, probably end up messing up probably opportunities or things they could have gotten down the road if they would have just been more patient in those situations.
Kyle Henderson, welcome back to the show. Your reaction?
Kind of in closing, you know, on the Heisman Trophy ceremony. I mean, what a tremendous young man, and what a tremendous season that Alabama as a team has won. And I think that these individuals, while Bryce has said, you know, it's about, you know, he's going to be written down, but this is a team award all the way through, from the all the way to the top. I mean, what these guys have faced, the adversity, the injuries that they're still dealing with going forward. I knew that they were going to be Georgia because of the fact that this team is battle tested, and I think they've showed tremendous growth. And this award is amazing for a first-year quarterback, for the first quarterback ever to win at Alabama. It speaks volumes about the program. It speaks volumes about Nick Saban, about Bill O'Brien, and how they were able to facilitate this new offense. I am so happy for this young man, but happy for the team, because this continues to show the growth of this team. And Jay, I was listening to your show the other day, and you said something that made my ears perk up. You said that this team has an opportunity to win 3 in a row, right? Because like this freshman group. Because you know, or the sophomore group, rather.
Sophomore group,
yeah. So last year, I know Bryce didn't get a lot of opportunities. He only threw the football, I think, like 21 times or something like that. But you know, they won a national title this year. If they were in a national title, and next year, I mean, that team, these guys are going to be juniors by then. So I just thought that, you know, that really stood out, and you kind of you see the way that this team has performed on the highest level, and they're peaking at the right time. You know, the way that they played against Georgia, I certainly think that they continue with that momentum going forward.
Yeah, the key for a team like this young, and a team that has maybe enjoyed success sitting on the sidelines and watching a national championship, is that sometimes you believe winning just happens. And Coach Saban has talked about this many times. It's psychological, it's emotional. So what's the best thing that can happen is for you to go through hard times, for you to go through some type of setback, for you to go through some type of a struggle. And they did against Texas A&M getting beat. They did against other teams throughout the year where they had to come back and win. They did against Auburn, definitely, with 4 overtimes. And through all that, the team continued to grow. And Coach Saban, you know, really probably, and I've said this before, and I know Mick said it, I know you've said it, Kyle, maybe Coach Saban's best coaching job he's done to date at Alabama, because he understood how to massage, and I mean that in, you know, in athletic way. He knew how to make sure egos and just the emotions, the psychology of the game, that he had to take a different approach. And that to me is the sign of a great coach, the sign of somebody that's reading your players, reading the people that are going to impact what's going to happen on the field. He did that this year, and I think that made a huge difference. This team grew up a ton. The adversity made them better, and now I think they've been playing their best football. This Cincinnati team, though, is really, really good offensively. Yeah. Defensively, they've got great cornerbacks that are long, that are athletic, that are NFL-style guys. You know, it's going to be a really don't let Alabama fans, don't let yourselves think this is not going to be a tough game. It's not going to be a challenge. This is a top 4 team in the country. They've had their struggles at times, but they're coached by a great coach in Luke Fickell. And now the Heisman's in the place back in Tuscaloosa with Bryce, the first ever Alabama Heisman quarterback winner. But now it's focusing on Cincinnati. Don't look past that to another rematch with Georgia, whoever else it is. This Cincinnati team deserves a lot of respect. We need to give it to them over the next few weeks, and I know the team will.
Look at those totals, Kyle. 684 first place votes for Bryce. And if Aiden Hutchinson came in second, that tells me that there really wasn't much of a race here.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas, once again, surprise, right? I mean, they built those hotels, you know, like Jeff Cameron says, right? They know what they're doing. So it wasn't a shocker. The season that they put together, and all the Heisman finalists, you know, congratulations to what they did on the course of the year and going into their bowl season or wherever they're going. I thought it was a tremendous season thus far. There's still a lot of work to do. And I kind of echo Jay's statements about that Cincinnati team. I watched a very aggressive defense from Cincinnati against Notre Dame. I know that's kind of the one game where we all kind of dialed in to watch them. They had a lot of weapons on the defensive side. The quarterback is very talented. And then you know about Jerome Ford. I mean, you know where he played at before he left to Cincinnati. He played at the University.
He was one of my favorite running backs who was there.
Yeah, no, he's a baller.
He really was. I thought he was going to get a lot of playing time. It was him and, oh my gosh, the guy that went to Oakland Raiders.
Josh Jacobs.
When they were, I was like, these two guys, why are they not playing more? Why? Because I'd watch Jerome in practice or in spring and be like, man, this guy's he can cut, he can make people miss. He's a talented back.
Yeah, no, and you know, I think you look at the running backs that have left out. You got Keelan Robinson, who also left. You have Kyle Edwards. You had Jerome Ford, and those guys will certainly be playing. And look, players have to make the best decision for themselves, just like coaches, right? I don't think this transfer portal stuff is wild, and that could be a show for another time. But I mean, coaches are on the move, so are players. I mean, so the news doesn't stop, as you know, when you cover college football. And great stuff as Bryce wraps up the Heisman Trophy. What a tremendous, past couple of weeks it's been for the Alabama Crimson Tide. My goodness.
Guys, like and subscribe as you hang out with us tonight. Our Heisman watch party. Bryce Young just won, dominant fashion, if you want to call it that. He got 83% of the first place votes and lapped the field. And he becomes Alabama's second straight Heisman Trophy winner and the fourth in school history, all of them coming under Nick Saban. And there's only one coach besides Nick Saban that's ever had 4 Heisman Trophy winners, and that was Leahy at Notre Dame. So it's everything that's out there to break. That's what Nick Saban is intent on doing. Guys, before we wrap it up, I want to go to each of you one more time just to kind of reflect on everything that you saw tonight and talk about what you got going on.
There's the aunt. The aunt she just had the one that called in the night, I think it was. There she is.
Yeah.
My nephew won the Heisman. That's awesome.
Auntie, good to
Roll
see
Tide.
you.
Congrats to Bryce.
That's
awesome.
All right, Jay, you go first. What do you got going on this week? But first, give me just an overall assessment of the night and anything else that pops into your head.
Yeah, he definitely deserved it. I wish Will could have been there to be with him on that, but I loved Will's attitude this week and did nothing but compliment all the other people that were there, complimented the fact and said, look, he's more worried about focusing on the national championship. And he realized that Bryce was going to be the winner tonight, and take home the Heisman Trophy. So congratulations to Bryce, his family, to the Alabama fans, to Coach Saban, to the players, all the guys around him, to the offensive line, because they're the ones that make you break you, no matter if they're not making you or not breaking you. It's still those guys, your running game, the guys around you. But Bryce's on the field play and his off the field character is why he won the Heisman. And congratulations, Roll Tide, and cannot be more proud of the young man.
All right, what do you got going on this week?
Got the show coming up on Monday. What's today? Saturday? Can't remember the days. So Monday, got the show again, noon to 2 right here on Bama Insider. Also on Bama Insider, not only YouTube channel, but Facebook as well. So like, share, subscribe, and you can hear us throughout the Jay Barker Radio Network. We're all throughout the state of Alabama, down on the Gulf Coast, and we'll have Mick Gillispie at 1:30. Will also join us as he does every single Monday to break it down and get his thoughts for the week. Alabama will be off. They're off today through next Wednesday. They'll get back to practice on the 16th or the 17th. Is that right? What day is that? 17th on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, or maybe they're back on the 16th. And then get ready to start practicing and get ready for Cincinnati. It's going to be a fun next couple of weeks, and it's going to seem a little bit long, but I know it's going to fly by with Christmas coming around. And I wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas. Hope everybody has a great holiday season. Awesome, man. Great hearing from you. How about you, Kyle?
No, what a tremendous, past couple of weeks it's been for Alabama. And I think if you're out there, go to Alabama's official Twitter and watch Devontae Smith's, kind of open letter to Bryce Young. And he's like, it's not about the size. It's about, kind of yourself and honing in on your craft. And I mean, those two guys, it still trips me out that they were roommates last year. That's pretty amazing. Like two Heisman Trophy winners just kind of, hanging out. And I think that's, that Smitty gave him so much mentorship. And I think that's really important for these young men. And the way that Bryce Young really handles himself, I think he's a great spokesperson for the University of Alabama. Alabama, surprise, surprise, getting more TV time. That's perfect for Nick Saban right before Wednesday, which is National Signing Day, right? Perfect timing for Nick Saban, as always. It's great stuff. And for the rest of the week, we're just going to continue to, track all these awards and get ready, because next Wednesday we'll be live for our National Signing Day show. I'm going to take the fam up to New York City for Christmas. Then I'll be back for the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And, we got a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts on BamaInsider.com. But we really, really appreciate each and every one of you that was with us tonight watching on our show. Definitely hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. And you got your support, your thumbs up go a long way. So thank you very much for supporting Mick, Jay, Tony Sukalis, Trey Yanity, Andrew Bone, Chris Daughtry in the background. We got a lot of moving parts. You guys make Bama Insider what it is. So we sincerely appreciate you.
Well said, Kyle. A special thanks to Chris and Trey Yanity for helping us out tonight, and for Jay Barker, who's been there himself. He's been to New York for the big dance, and now tonight he's with us as we watch Bryce Young win the Heisman, the first Alabama quarterback to do that. Kyle Henderson and me, Mick Gillispie, from all of us, thank you for being here tonight for our Heisman watch party. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Guys, thank you so much. And a hearty Roll Tide to the 2021 Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young. Good